Have you ever wondered why your life seems to be fading into the background, just when you thought you were finally ready to be seen? Why the opportunities that once felt so close suddenly slipped through your fingers? Why the people who used to celebrate you no longer call your name? It feels like you've been pushed into a quiet corner, hidden from the world, forgotten without explanation. But what if you're not being overlooked? What if you're being protected? What if you're not being rejected? What if you're being prepared? Today, we're going to explore the mystery of the season when God intentionally hides you. There are seasons in your life when God pulls you away from the spotlight, away from the noise, away from the places where you once felt useful and seen. It feels confusing, even painful, because you assume visibility equals purpose, and silence must mean something is wrong with you. But in Scripture, God often hides the very people he intends to use most powerfully. He hides them to shape them, to shield them, and to strengthen them for assignments that require depth, resilience, and purity of heart. In this message, we will walk through the 5 signs that you're in a God-ordained season of hiddenness, and why this hidden place is not a tomb, but a workshop. You'll learn how God uses obscurity to refine your character, protect your calling, and prepare you for a season of influence that you could not carry without this time of being set apart. There are moments when God gently pulls you out of places where you were once visible, active, and affirmed. At first, it feels like loss. It feels like something in you is shrinking. But hiddenness is not God reducing you. It's God reconstructing you. Just as a sculptor covers his unfinished work, so no one misjudges it too soon, God shields you while he shapes the parts of you that applause cannot reach. You may look around and think, why am I not where I used to be? Why is everything slowing down? But Scripture shows us that God does his deepest work in secret places. Psalm 27:5 says, "For in the day of trouble he will conceal me in his shelter. He will hide me in the secret place of his tent." This hiding is protection, not punishment. God conceals you so that wounds can heal without reopening, so that pride doesn't sabotage you, so that pressure doesn't crush what he is still forming. When you feel unseen, remember, God hides what he values, and he reveals what he has refined. There are seasons when everything that once moved quickly suddenly slows to a crawl. Doors take longer to open. Prayers take longer to be answered. Progress feels suspended. And you begin to wonder if you've done something wrong. But often, God slows you down not to frustrate you, but to fortify you. A tree that grows fast, but shallow topples in the first storm. A tree whose roots go deep can withstand anything. Hidden seasons are where God deepens your roots, your character, your prayer life, your humility, your dependence on him. Without deep roots, your future elevation would destroy you instead of bless you. Jeremiah 17:7-8 paints this picture. Blessed is the one who trusts in the Lord. They will be like a tree planted by the water and never fail to bear fruit. Notice the fruit comes last. First comes planting, then comes rooting, then comes strengthening. When life slows down, God is not delaying you. He is anchoring you, because what he's preparing you for requires a stability that rush cannot produce. There are seasons when people drift away from you, sometimes abruptly, sometimes quietly. Friendships fade. Connections you relied on lose their strength. Circles you once belonged to no longer feel like home. And everything in you wants to ask, what did I do wrong? But there are moments when God himself allows certain relationships to fall away because they cannot go where he is taking you. Some people are assignments for a season, not companions for a calling. Others would drain the strength you need for the next chapter. And some would sabotage what God is building within you because they cannot discern the value he has placed on you. Separation hurts, but sometimes it is God's mercy in disguise. John 15:2 says, "Every branch that bears fruit, he prunes it so that it may bear more fruit." Pruning feels like loss, but it is strategic. God removes not to empty you, but to increase you. He cuts away what would hinder growth so that what remains can flourish. If relationships have shifted, don't panic. God is not subtracting from your life. He is refining your path. There are moments when every door you knock on seems to stay firmly shut. Opportunities slip away. Plans collapse without warning. Even the things you were sure God approved suddenly fall apart. And you sit there wondering, why would God let me get this far just to say no? But a closed door from God is never a rejection of you. It is a redirection for you. God sees the path beyond the corner you cannot turn. He knows what dangers, distractions, and detours lie behind doors that look appealing, but would derail your purpose. Sometimes the no you fear is actually the greatest yes to your long-term destiny. Revelation 3-7 reminds us, what he opens, no one can shut, and what he shuts, no one can open. This means that when God closes a door, it is not because you lack value, it is because the door lacks alignment. Closed doors aren't evidence that God is distant. They are signs that he is involved, guiding your steps one deliberate move at a time. There is a silence that does not come from distance, but from discipleship. A silence where heaven feels quiet, prayers seem to echo, and guidance comes slower than you hoped. In these moments, you may wonder if God has stepped back. But in reality, he is stepping closer, training your spiritual ears to recognize his voice without the noise of the crowd. Every great calling in Scripture was shaped in silence. Moses learned to lead not in Pharaoh's palace, but in the solitude of Midian. Elijah heard God not in the earthquake or the fire, but in a gentle whisper. Jesus himself withdrew to lonely places to pray before major moments in his ministry. Silence is not a pause in God's plan. It is part of God's process. Psalm 46-10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." Stillness is a classroom, and those who master stillness are the ones God can trust with responsibility, authority, and influence. If you're in a silent season, don't misinterpret it. God is not ignoring you. He is tuning you. There are qualities God must build in you privately, because success will expose them publicly. The higher God intends to lift you, the deeper he must strengthen you beneath the surface. Hidden seasons feel unfair because you know there is greatness inside you, yet no one seems to recognize it. But that is precisely why God hides you, so the weight of future influence doesn't collapse what is still fragile inside. Think of Joseph. Before he ever wore Pharaoh's ring, he wore chains. Before he interpreted dreams in the palace, he was forgotten in a dungeon. But Genesis 39-41 shows us something profound. Every hidden season was strengthening Joseph's integrity, humility, discernment, and resilience, qualities he would need when the whole nation depended on his decisions. 1 Peter 5-6 echoes this truth. Humble yourselves under the mighty hand of God, so that he may exalt you in due time. Due time means not yet, because God is still preparing the parts of you success will reveal. You are not wasting time. You are being fortified for a future you cannot carry without this foundation. You may not see it now, but this hidden season is holy ground. It is the place where God is refining you without pressure, healing you without witnesses, and strengthening you without distraction. What feels like obscurity is actually God's strategy. What feels like delay is often divine protection. And what feels like being forgotten is, in truth, the gentle hand of a father preparing you for a future that requires more depth, more wisdom, and more resilience than you have ever carried before. Do not despise this season. Embrace it. Lean into it. Let God finish the work he is doing beneath the surface. Because when he reveals you, it will not be premature. It will not be fragile. It will not be accidental. It will be timed, intentional, and anointed. You are not invisible. You are not behind. You are not overlooked. You are being prepared for a moment only God can orchestrate. If this message spoke to you, type in the comments, "I trust God's timing." And if you need more encouragement for your journey of faith, consider subscribing and sharing this video with someone who may also be walking through a hidden season. God is not done with you. In fact, He's just getting started.